go. Cool. So here's the tier list. We've got a lot of hand traps and we've got a lot of board breakers here. We will also do a smashability rating in this as well, because why not? Who says hand traps and the like can't be smashable as well? Yes, yeah, smashable as well as effective. Gonna start. We've got best, we got good, we got aight, we got nah mate, and we got trash. And we're gonna start off by putting one into, I think, the trash. That being Skullmeister. Skullmeister doesn't have any effect on the game at any point now. Like, I don't know. I can't even say a deck it really affects. The only deck it really affects is Fiendsmith, and it's a poor trap into Fiendsmith as well. Doesn't do much. Its effects are negligible. Can't say that word. But either way, that's going straight into trash. So there we go. We got our first one in trash. Next one as well. I may have set it up a little bit like this. That's going into trash as well. So Ghost Winter Cherries or something like that. Can't remember what it's called. Requires you to have a format where everyone's playing the same kind of deck. More zoom. Okay, yeah, we'll zoom in a bit more. Give me a sec. Too much zoom. There we go. That should be a bit better. Perfect. So we're just doing Winter Cherries. Winter Cherries was really good when we have the same kind of cards. It's not bad into Ryzil. I have seen, like, there is a utility there where you basically shut down your opponent's Yugioh drive and stuff like that. But even in Malice, you shut down their Malice, but you just put in the card in graveyard and you're kind of delaying the inevitable. It's not doing enough. So I think this one isn't quite a Narmate. Isn't quite a trash. I'm gonna put it in Narmate. I don't think it's doing much this format. It can do something, but it's not doing really anything too much. We got Gamma. Gamma's still nice. Gamma's still great. Gamma can knock out a lot of boards. If you go for the effects, if you just go for a normal summon effect and they Gamma you, you're still crying. Cherries on Detonator is kind of gooey. That's why I think it is kind of it does something. Like if you draw that cherries and if you use that cherries, it'll still have an effect. But is it worth running? And that's where I'm kind of like drawing the line a bit. You have to. I feel like a lot of the big decks, Malice especially, whenever I'm playing Malice, it's really hard to figure out what I want to put in my extra deck. And Ryzil as well, especially if you're playing the Fiendsmith package, you just don't have that extra space. And you have to play extra copies. Which you could do for Kashtira stuff, but still, we're going to leave it in Narmate. But is definitely a gooey kind of card. Gamma's going straight into good. It's a good card. It's a good card in any format, really. Good in hand traps. Good in your opponents trying to start, to build their board. If they're just going with using their normal summon, they go normal summon, Malice Dormouse, activate effect. You Gamma that. You could have just shut them off their turn. Same with Ryzil stuff. You could, like, if that was the only Ryzil they had, you could have shut them out of their turn. Like, it's very effective. The only issue is that it is bricky at 1. And that's why I'm actually going to move these up ahead and kind of talk a bit more about them. Epsilon is funny. Epsilon is the one that negates if your opponent activates a trap card and you control no cards, you can special summon this and special summon Sideframe Driver from the deck. I'll go a bit more into all the effects here as well because I do have some non-Yu-Gi-Oh players in the chat. But yeah, Epsilon can come up. We do have a lot more traps in the format, but I still think it's going to go into the trash, unfortunately. As for smashability, pretty good. You can definitely feel a spark, as you can see there. I think that's just a thing with all the side frames. You get a bit of a spark from them all. And this one looks like it latches onto you, so I think it's pretty good. Yeah, first card was a def smash. Oh, Skullmeister. Yeah, he's like the the poster child for like for the is it gothic pretty boy. Alright, I will remember. I will remember to also do smash or pass with these as well. Going across to Delta. Delta's still really good. Although in a weird way, like we do have into Malice, you can stop their field spell, and that can sometimes end their turn. They only have so many starters, so it's still very good into that. Against Ryziel, it's not as good. Like, I mean, it can shut down their. It shuts down the field spell, but that's about it. Like it's not, and I guess it can shut down plugin as well. But if they're activating plugin, in conjunction with stuff like Raigeki, if they have full board and you go Raigeki, you try to pop their board or something like that, and then they go plugin to try and bring back the detonator. Ooh, sorry. You can go into this. So that one's gonna go back into the. I think it's still a Narmate. It has its usabilities like Winter Cherries, but yeah, just not quite there. Also, yeah, it's a Sparky boy. Goes over your shoulders. Don't know about smash ability. I think a nah. Not that one. Alright. Go back to more hand traps. I've got Bestial Magnamort here. That's just all Bestials. Bestials are they're nice in this format. If you're playing Malice, you play them in the deck. Amazing cards. I've been nibbed so many times playing Malice and just played through it because I had the Bestial. They're just so good at getting bodies on board, getting the Malice combo going, and even getting I guess like if you get Magnamort, you've got the Bestial for next turn. That can be really good into both when you're versing Malice and when you're playing Malice, because what I found, and it only happens every so often, but if your opponent uses their effects enough, you can kind of lock them out of their monsters there. So Bestialing the monster they're trying to summon back with Splash Mage, if they've already activated the effect, is amazing. You've locked them out of maybe their turn if they don't have any extenders. So Bestials, they're good. Fiendsmith is still in the format. Fiendsmith Ryziel's in the format. I'm gonna put that at a good. It's not quite best, but it's definitely good. Could be a bit of an ite pick as well. Maybe it is an ite pick, because it really is particular. But it's still a fine thing to have in your side deck, especially if you're playing a dragon deck. That's the way to go. Although I haven't really seen too many competitive dragon decks. Now this one is for Nick and a couple others, and Neil as well. They were talking to me about this. Vados is amazing. Oh, whoops. And I guess smash ability, yes. Although I would be smash because they've got them big chains on their arms. Vados. Vados is a monster that says discard. Actually, no, it's special summon it and destroy a field spell, which is very good into the Ryziel matchup. It means that you're basically forcing that field spell, because what else are they going to do? They have to use the negate, and they don't have a way to cycle the negate unless they're playing something silly like Metaverse. So it's an interesting card, but it basically just goes 1-for-1 with the field spell. Guarantees that the field spell is gone, because you just go 1, 2. There's Vados summon. There you go. Vados board wipe is also very good. They then have to be careful of, I guess, popping it there. If Vados goes, there goes a whole board. So Vados is, funnily enough, I'm going to put in an ite as well. I know no one's really playing it, and it is a pyro monster, so what deck does it work with? But it is still very good. It's very good into Ryziel. It's decent into Malice, because I'm destroying the field spell as well. You got to remember as well, this is a quick play, so they can go the effect of field spell, and you can go Vados, and you can negate, or have their field spell activate without it, not resolve, resolve without effect. Blech. It's been a little while since I played Yugioh in my travels there, so it's still an alright one. It's not going to be played in any meta decks. I'm not seeing anyone playing it there, but for jank users, jump it in. It's fun, and it plays into the meta pretty well. Um, we've got some other weird ones I'm putting in here. We've got Spirit of Yubel. Oh, that's got to go up here. Spirit of Yubel is great. Oh, also, yeah, Dragon good. Dragon Smash. Um, Smash, yes. That's the other thing too. Put it in the chat. I want to hear your opinions too on Smash or Pass. Jump it in there. I put Spirit of Yubel here because it's basically a battle trap, and we're all kind of just forgetting about the fact that Yubel's still in the format. Really, it's still a really good deck. The times it's perfectly crazy. Yeah, Yubel is perf crazy. Oh, wait, no. Although I'm not really sure if you're just talking about the Smash ability there. Yubel is very good still. It is affected a little bit by the Bestials that people are running in the format. It does die to Droll. It does die to D-Shifter. But that's still it. That's pretty much it. Like, it's still an insane deck, and it now has multiple starters. Spirit of Yubel even itself is just so good. If into Ryziel, if they haven't used if you've baited the monster negate there, they go battle phase, they attack you, Spirit of Yubel, they can't pop it because they will let your whole board will just come back. So it's interesting. It's interesting, and I was even looking at playing a Yubel list as well and playing with 3 Spirit because you're kind of just going for a lot more battle tricks. You really want to open Spirit now because you have 3 opening the Spirit gates. And that was the card that really just, did well with it. You go opening the Spirit gates. They negate all your stuff. They stop your Dark Beckoning Beast, and you just go Spirit gates, effects, Spirit of Yubel, and there you go. You're off to the races. It's also interesting. You can play the fusion. You can play Super Polymerization again. So, I'm gonna put this, and this is a weird one, and this is kind of just you. It's a weird one. I'm doing like it as a hand trap, but also more as like Yubel as a whole. This is an ite. It's a very good kind of thing just to have. I don't know if people are still playing a Yubel engine for the Phantom of Yubel. It's decently fine. It worked in Snake Eyes. I played a couple of people. When it worked, it worked. When it didn't, and that's just it. So it's just ite. This is a fun one I wanted to talk about, though. Ooh, Typhon. So Typhon says, if you have no cards on the field, you can destroy up to 2 spell traps on the field. If your opponent has up to 2 spell traps on the field, you can destroy up to 2 spell traps on the field. If you have no cards, if you control no cards, you can activate this from the hand. This is really good into Bryzil especially. You hit the field spell. You hit their back row, which is usually plug-in or an imperm or whatever else they've set. It's good. I was trying to find an argument of why this wasn't as good. But yeah, just Typhon's not bad. Like, I guess its only issue is that if you're not versing Ryziel. But as a side card going second, it's good. You just play it. You've taken out one of their back row. You've taken out the monster negate, and you just have to deal with Detonator. So if the next card in your hand is Chalice and the rest is combo, that's the game. It's very good. Just clearing. So specifically for the Ryziel matchup, this would be good going second. Even going first, you set this and it's doing the same thing. You just pop 2. Okay. I guess not as good going first, but it's a nice little weird kind of board breakery kind of thing. So I'm gonna put for the Ryziel matchup good, but we're gonna keep it an ite for now. Definitely, if all you're versing is Ryziel, that's what you gotta play there. As for Smash or Pass, it is a Typhon. I don't think you can smash it, but you can probably marry it. Someone's married the Eiffel Tower, so you can probably marry a Typhon. Anyway. Not going to go too much into Lantier. Lantier's really good this format. It beats Malice. It can beat Melodious, which is kind of coming up. Melodious is very good with Aria. just protecting from destruction by battle and targeting, it is very annoying for Ryziel to out Melodious. I think it was annoying in general. I remember versing Voice's voice, different decks. It's very annoying for them to out Melodious with that. Lancia does both. It does really well into taking out the Shiberta and taking out the Etoile. And has weird interactions into Marincess if you're playing against Han at locals. The little dude there, smash. Dogwood. Dogwood's good. It's fine. But it's going to go Ite because we don't really have as much of a time format, I think. We have Malice, which hits itself in the head a lot and loses life points, but it's fine. It's still a great time card. It does... If we get into grindy games, it does end people's turns. But against Ryziel, it's not as good because they're not summoning enough. They summon a fair bit, but not enough. Ogre is really good. Ogre, really good into Fiendsmith. Yubel can be devastating in Malice if you use it at the right time. Typhoon is mid. That's true. It only destroys one. Actually, I didn't actually know that. Okay. Typhon is unfortunately going down to null, mate. Okay. Thanks for that one. Good old Pearly fan, Canberra. I'm still not sure who exactly that is. Yeah. I didn't realize it only destroyed one. I thought it destroyed two. Typhon, I thought I was onto some cool new jank. Sorry, y'all, it's not as good as it was. Yeah, I know. Anyway, we'll go straight into Ghost Ogre. Ghost Ogre's good. Fiendsmith, Yubel, nice into Ryziel in some ways as well. If they haven't got the field spell up, your Ghost Ogre can literally, like if you use that on Detonator, on Dura Drive, that can be devastating. They still get the, actually no, they don't get the cards because they have to detach. Surprised not on the format, but if it was, there you go. Just a really good card. I'm going to put it at good. It's not the best, but it's just very good. And to put it into a bit of perspective as well, I guess good is a lot of the stuff that you would generally be running in your side deck. Ite is stuff that you might run in your side deck if you have room. Narmate is you're not running it at all, or you just, if you want to, you just for jank stuff you can, and trash is trash. The best is stuff that I would say if you're coming up against it, like stuff like if you're coming against Malice a lot, you play Lancia in the main deck. Like if that's all you're versing at locals, be ready for it. Bring that Lancia. If you went to the regional and you had to know that everyone's playing Malice, play Lancia in the main deck. It doesn't hurt to have one in the main deck. If it's one card, I guess. If you know there's gonna be Malice, go against it and just play the Lancia. If you're playing a deck that discards, play the Lancia. Like if it works, it works. Cool. Anyway, keep going with it. We're going back to Ghost Spell. Ghost Spell's really cool. Ghost Spell's is, I say really good. It's just good. Really good against Malice. Kinda alright against. I guess it hits plugin. I didn't realize, but it hits plugin, so it does have some sort of impact against Ryziel there. What else does it hit? I guess it hits Yubel in some ways too. There's some variations of effects they've got, so it's just good. Definitely a good card to have in the side deck. Malice is pretty rampant, as well as Ryziel, and this card hits both in some ways. Although, according to Triff, plugin sucks, so I don't know. As for Smash Pass, we're gonna pass. These are all nah. Ash Blossom. We're gonna put in an eye. There's been a lot of discussion from what I've seen about Ash Blossom being actually good this format. It's good against Furos. It can be good against certain cards, but it's not anything too amazing. Like Imperm does the same to Duo Drive as what Ash does. Ash lets means that you can get talents. I'm even debating like whether I side Ash. Ash feels very mid this at the moment, which is odd because I've used to it kind of always having some sort of effect. Even into Malice, you hit their trap, summon from deck. That's about it. You hit their draw, you hit the Red Ransom. It's all right against Red Ransom because they do, if they have traps, they can dodge the Imperm or the Veiler. But honestly, Ash is just, we don't have a great target. We went from a format where we had, fear of OSSS, original sinful spoils, some from the deck, and other things, but it's just not as good at the moment, I think. So that's going there, unfortunately. I'm just gonna swap these around. Oops. On the other hand, both Veiler and Imperm, they're gonna go in best. Negating the Duo Drive is pretty essential in just breaking a board. I think every time I've done that, the board's just broken easily. Because Detonator is good, but can be added quite easily once if they don't have the field spell. That field spell being able to negate a monster effect is rough. A lot of our removal is through monster effects at the moment. You can play stuff like Sky Striker, which has spell trap kind of ways to remove, but it's far and few between. If you're not playing the deck, you're not playing the deck. So Veiler and Imperm, I think, are really, really good this format. They're even good against Malice, because worst case scenario, they set a trap. You don't know what it is. It could just be Imperm. You have to Imperm their monster, because otherwise they're just going to get advantage. There's certain situations where you won't, and that's when you're, like, for example, I guess Malice against Malice, if they commit enough and they're going for and they have enough in the grave to go for an access code talker, that's when you would hold the Imperm or the Veiler. But otherwise, you're using it immediately on that Duo Drive, using it immediately on that Dormouse that they normal summon, because that might be all they have. Yeah, Cyber Dragon, Infinity, we smash. He got them wings. And Veiler, I don't know. Nah, probably not, eh? But pretty cool. Nibiru's good. If you manage to do one of those things, if you Veiler or Imperm the Duo Drive, and you nib, that's Ryzeal. GG. If you nib the Malice and they've played incorrectly and they have not set a trap, they do not have a Bestial in hand, they haven't gone through their full Malice combo, then you've nibbed them. If they have a Bestial in hand, they can do everything they need to do. It's just good. It's good, this format. I don't know why everyone's like it's not good. The only issue with it is the fact you can't run it with, is it Impulse? Yeah, you can't run it with Impulse. That's literally the only issue with it. Nib is really good, this format. It's still good into your bell, especially if you've baited that the one Phantom, because what are they going to do? That's it. They will, just go for it from there. So Nib I still think is very good. Not sure what other decks will show up in the format, but most rogue decks do die the Nib anyway. Best. These cards, it's Maxi. Maxi just draws you cards. It's good. I'd smash Nib too. I feel like Nib would rock your world. 100%. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. Nib got smashed, and that's why we have, was it the Primal being alien guy? Because someone smashed Nib and then the alien came out. That's a canon event. Konami can add it in. But yeah, Molchamis, they draw you cards, they're good. What the sig. Look, It's 10:30. I'm tired. I've been having some big days. So if the nib is smashable, if that's Nib's true story, that's Nib's true story. Yeah, Mulchamis are good. If you got the money, get them. Brillia, Brillia's still good. Oh, actually, yeah, I will say it is good. I wouldn't say I. You are very likely to get 2 to 3 draws off your of this. It's still really good. Um, Malice, I guess you get less. Um, yeah. Malice, depending what it is, you get less. But they have to actively play around it, which means they can't go into an extension, which means they can't get to full board. So you are getting 3 cards no matter what off this, even if it's Malice, unless they really don't want to go into full board, and they have to draw a pretty good god hand for that. So I'm gonna still stick that one good. It's still very good against Ryziel. It's still good against Ubel. It's still good against more decks. It's really good against Flu, and I hear there's this guy named like I think Oscar. He's really good at Flu, so you just gotta keep that Perilia in your side deck for him. Uh, Smash, I guess, or for the Jellyfish. There we go. There's my thumb. Cool. Shifter's good. Shifter's best, I think. People were like, "Oh, shift doesn't affect Ryziel," but it really does. They can't really do much against it. Um, it's even oddly enough, if you're playing the mirror match against Malice, Shifter can sometimes streamline their combos. It means they have to focus on Malice, and sometimes they can't get to full board because Splash Mage is one of our extension points, and the Bestials are our extension points, and everything's banished. So if you're playing against pure Malice, Bestial Malice, or what's the other one? Sky Striker Malice, that Shifter's putting in the work. And it obviously they're going to Ubel. It ends their turn. In Malice, you can cycle this as well, which is kind of gross. Droll, funnily enough, I still put as best. With all of the decks we have, if you hit Ryziel with it, they search immediately. So if you draw them, there's a good chance they can't get to their field spell. So Droll's still very good there. They don't get to their field spell. You draw Malice, they can keep playing. That's fine. But they miss out on 3 draws, and 3 draws is insane. It's 3 hand traps. It's an extension point through your other hand traps. Droll is still very good this format. Against Ubel, insane. It's so good against Ubel, and against so many of the road decks, it's good. It's good against Atlanteans, which really I do not like that deck at all. Hand ripping is gross. It's just very nice card to have there. It kind of sucks it's in the format. I do feel like a lot of people want a bit of a format without Droll, because it does mean your combo decks and even like a bit of a jank deck that you might have that just really just pulls random cards out and somehow works in synergy, it gets killed by Droll. But unfortunately, I still put it in best. If you can run it, run it. But it is one of like at the lower tier of these kind of hand traps here. If you had to put something in side deck, you put that in the side deck, but you run it if you can, because it also stops the Mulch armies. Anyway, going to the Dominus, Phantasme. Here, we don't have a link format. Oh, we kind of have a link format, so it's alright into Malice. But to be real, if you're versing Malice, you kind of wanted to hand trap them earlier, so you can summon this. But they have non-targeting effects. It doesn't matter too much, but it's still alright. It can still win you a game if you played against Malice, and they made the big guy. You summon this, that could still win you the game, but it's not anything that says you do win the game. And some of these really do say you win the game. We're gonna go. This one's hard. but I think Impulse is still better. But this is good, bordering on best. This is really good into Ryziel. Just great against duo drive if you have a trap and grave. It just really does the job. And that means you can, if you have this and you have Imperm, you can freely go Imperm on their normal summon and then hit them with this, and you're pretty like happy with that. You've stopped their extension, you've stopped their extra extension, and you've removed a body from their board. And sometimes that ends their turn, which is just really good. Rigel has such a good grind game. Stopping their extension is just really key, and that's why this one's showing up a lot. Impulse is just Impulse. As for Smash or Pass, definitely Smash. Got them big pincer arms. This one, they're kind of already doing something, so we don't want to jump in there, you know. Okay, cool. And that's all the hand traps. I'm going to go a bit faster because I am taking a bit of time. We'll go straight into the board breakers. Funnily enough, Fenrir is here. Fenrir is a board breaker. I know it's not it's a monster board breaker, but it is a board breaker. It is good. It's always good. It's nice. You special summon this, cool. If you go for the effect, cool. They can't really interact with it because Ryziel struggles to interact with it without, I guess, wasting a pop or a negate. Because it just says you have to interact with me or something happens. So Fenrir is still very nice. It's decent into Malice as well because Malice can't do anything about banish face down. It's good into just pretty much everything. So this card, it's just never got worse, I guess. Zeus. Zeus is a board breaker. I know no one's putting in the tier list as board breakers, but I'm putting in my tier list as a board breaker. If you can run Zeus, run Zeus. Sending all cards is still really good. Detonator has protection, but only for destruction, I believe. So they can't do anything about a Zeus. You are probably running Zeus in your Ryziel decks if you are. But if you can run another decks as well, you can. Ubel now has extra space because they're not running, what's it called? They're not running 3 Phantom anymore. So you could even chuck it in there. I've done weird board states where I've won with Zeus and Ubel. It's still very good. It's just never not a bad card. If you can get a Zeus out consistently, run it. It's a good backup plan. Change your heart, it's good. Enough said, it takes a monster. We do have targeting protection in the form of Aria for Melodious. We do have targeting protection for, I guess, Malice in a way, if they've got the trap set, because that'll just banish your target. But it's still just very nice. It forces stuff. Forcing a trap in Malice can be game-breaking. And that's where that comes in as well. Widow Anchor is still very good. It's a steal. Oh, that's what we haven't got. I forgot to put talents. That's okay. That's my bad there. So, talents though, I would put at good still, but ahead of all these here. Just non-targeting take is just still so good. Drawing, if you've been hand-trapped, is so good. Hand knowledge and ripping a card is so good. Talents is nice this format, and everyone is running at least 1 or 2 hand traps. So as long as you don't get the player that activates just Imperm, you're fine. Book of Lunar Eclipse is aight. Ryziel dies to Book of Eclipse, which I'm going to move up. Unless they had the Ash. And if you have the second Book of Eclipse, you just activate that, and it's still the same thing. This is still fine, but only in a discard deck. Honestly, we'd rather run Book of Moon. Book of Moon is still fine too. If you've impermed their Duo Drive and they don't have the field spell, and you go Book of Moon on their Detonator, that's it. Do what you want. It does the same thing as this Book of Eclipse. Book of Eclipse is just better in the sense that if they got to another Xyz monster, you can get rid of both. Book of Eclipse, I think, is really good this format. Against Malice, if you set that, you can just end their turn. They can't do anything with face down monsters. They just kind of lose to it. Cool. Kaijus are really good. If they're not playing plugin, if they haven't searched plugin, the Kaiju out's their board. That's the detonator gone. I don't know why people aren't running Kaijus. It's always a weird thing. But when someone runs a Kaiju, it generally just does it because it's really good. It's just 1-for-1 removal. It does enable plugin, but if they haven't got plugin, they haven't got plugin. Droplet's still very good. Putting it up there. Not too much to be said. And Chalice kind of goes hand in hand. Droplet is good, but for certain decks you don't really want to be running it. We just don't have as many starters with the 2 new decks. They haven't got their support. So sometimes when you Droplet, you have to be really careful of what you're sending. That's pretty much it. And Chalice just feels nice. It's 1-for-1 against Ryziel. It's pretty good against even Malice because you're basically saying your big dragon doesn't do anything. Which is just really good. You'd be surprised how many people don't read that Firewall Dragon negates battle phase effects, and they try and do something. So, Chalice is nice. Exiton is good removal. Not too much being said there. Twin Twisters. That's going good. We've moved away from a format where Fire Kings are around where they have protection for their field spell. We've moved away from protection from most field spells, but we're back in a field spell format. Twin Twisters does just hit 2. It's good. It's better Cosmic Cyclone. Better Mystical Space Typhoon in a sense. And we are playing against usually 2 back row, like especially Ryziel. They've set the sword, they set the plugin, they set the field spell. You go, well, what do I want to stop? You stop the plugin, you stop the trap, and if you can deal with the field spell, you're G. So Twin Twisters is very nice. Cosmic is good. It's good this format, but it's not anything too insane. And that's funnily enough where I'm putting Cosmic in Iron. And Twin Twisters higher up. We're not really putting as much value into stuff like Twin Twisters or Harpy's Feather Duster, but they're really good into the Ryzer matchup. A lot of the time they're just setting. Especially if they want to dodge nib or they want to be really careful about things. They're just setting. And that's just free back row. If you go Twin Twister and you discard something that you want to grave, if it's a Malice monster and you have the Bestial to banish it and keep going and extending, it's really good. So I think Twin Twisters is one of those things that people aren't really playing, but it's nice. And same with Harpy's Feather Duster. We have a lot of back row decks. Play it. Dark Ruler is still fine. The main reason you don't want to play it is just because Ryziel can grind better. But if you have the Imperm to stop that Duo Drive and you Dark Rule them, it's the same result. Play Dark Ruler no more. It's still fine. The fun thing about this format is that, and the fun thing I guess about Ryziel in a sense is that there are so many outs to them. It's just whatever you want to play. Like Dark Ruler still works. All this stuff still works. The only thing with Dark Ruler, not as good against Malice, because they just don't put a board up, but still really good against Fiendsmith. Yeah, Dark Ruler's still fine to run. Rogeki's still fine to run. Dark Hole's still fine to run. These are both all fine to run. Evenly still actually Evenly is going into Iron, just because we do want to get value because we do have these engines that are still 1-card combos. Evenly is good when people are putting a lot of stuff on the board. It's still good into Fiendsmith, Bell if they make a full board, but most of the time you're trading for 2 cards for your 1, and that's just not a good enough trade, even if it is banishing them face down. Ulti Slayer is really good into Ryziel. It's pretty decent into Malice. And it's really good into Fiendsmith if you send that fusion. And that's pretty much it. That's the tier list there. I'm probably going to call it here because that's been 2 hours and I'm pretty wrecked still. But yeah, let me know if you've got any opinions on that. I don't think I brought anything too groundbreaking there. Just bringing back to the attention that Dark Rule is still nice. Kaijus are still nice. Even though the top meta players aren't playing them, they're still really good. There's still so many outs to Ryziel. It's just whatever you want to play. And it really works on your deck style. If you're playing a deck that can win turn 3, turn 4, and just has so much grind and so much follow-up, play Dark Ruler. If you can knock their board, break it, summon make your board, and that's the game, that's the game. Like, Ryziel struggles into that if you've broken their board. As long as you've got the follow-up as well. Dark Hole's still fine. It's Raigeki, obviously Raigeki's better, but Raigeki's still really good. Tenpai was running it for a reason. It's still really good. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the tier list. Hope you all enjoyed. I might do a deck tier list as well. And what I will probably get everyone to do, if I do that, I'll do a bit of a survey to find out some decks, because I'll have my decks in mind, but I want to hear what decks you want me to put in there as well, because I do want to have a good look at some of them as well. But yeah, anyway, we'll leave it at that. Thanks everyone. See Yu-Gi-Oh players at locals. Everyone else, thank you for supporting. I'm sorry I didn't do as much of the Smashability here, but I will try to. I will even have a Smash or Pass. Maybe for decks. I don't know. We'll figure out something. But till then, I'll see you all on the Sunday stream for Voice Ranger if you come along. Peace out.